For the Between Leagues, I have this Golgari Wight of the Reliquary deck. I've been wanting to play Wight of the Reliquary plus Badgermole Cub together for a little while. I think the deck came together pretty good. If you remember that we had a Golgari Badgermole Cub like more mid-range build that we trophied with before we found the Eldrazi Maverick deck. And I kind of started from that shell and ended up making like a lot of changes. I think the deck's not like that recognizable from how it was before. One thing I think Ouroboroid is not as good as it was before. I think we're playing one and we have not only Green Sun Zenith, but I'm also playing a couple Chord of Callings, which I think is kind of juicy. So the idea is like Wight of the Reliquary is more of a good value card in a deck that's playing Badgermole Cub, Nantuko, and Bowmaster. You're able to get a lot of good utility lands, either Bojuka Bog for Graveyard Hate, Shifting Woodland for card advantage, Sejiri Steppe. I guess Mortuary also for card selection, and then Sejiri Steppe as protection for your creatures, and also Ghost Quarter. And the idea is that like you have these like you're I think just trying to focus on Wight as like a powerful card that you're not like completely built around is pretty important. Like Wight is just not strong enough or resilient enough to be super duper plan A, but I think it can fit alongside another like big value shell here too. And you just have a lot of like wanting to assemble either Titania plus Safekeeper to close out games. I think Safekeeper is also just kind of a good card with Badgermole in general. It's something I'm wanting to find a little bit more of. Icetill Explorer is not only good to be looping Ghost Quarters and finding mana, but it's also important to be able to grow your Wight of the Reliquary. So a little bit more in on Icetill than we are in on Ouroboroid. I do think with the Chord of Callings, the main deck Endurance is pretty good. Only playing a couple Chord of Callings. No Boseiju main deck feels like a miss. So I keep getting this comment over and over again. I am very intentionally not playing Boseiju in decks because I think Basic Forest is better than Boseiju. The Ponza deck is like so annoying if you're only playing like 2 to 3 basics, and you get so much equity by playing like a 4th or a 5th basic. I genuinely think Basic Forest is better than Boseiju in Modern right now. Okay, Emperor, the +1 counterland isn't realistic with Wight. Yeah, without Emperor, I don't think you want it too much. Is MTG challenges only on Mondays? Mondays and Fridays. All right, so let's get into a match here. I'm going to mulligan my 7 on the play with the Golgari deck. Keep this, put back probably second Bowmaster. And I'm going to go to the bathroom too. All right, keeping this. Okay. Still not used to seeing all these Verges out of Boros. Maybe they're good. I don't know. I was going to keep almost any land here. I think that's probably the one land I'm going to say no to. I guess let's not get mana tithed. They play a Ajani, we can Bowmaster the token and then threaten to attack the Ajani this turn. Now this doesn't kill the Ajani, but it's neuters it. The fact that Ajani is a May flip is like... It's pretty annoying. Basically the only annoying thing about Ajani. Alright, they have a third land. Probably not going to cast a Seasoned Pyromancer into double Bowmaster. Do I want to trade a Bowmaster for an Ajani? I think let's not. Seems like they might do this if they had something like Seasoned Pyromancer in their hand. Draw a copy of Sylvan Safekeeper. I do want to Thoughtseize this turn to try to play around Legend of Roku, so I guess I could also play the Safekeeper maybe. Looks like they might Thraben Charm. I'm going to target my Orc army. The fact that they have Ocelot Pride is also pretty annoying because now the Johnny just could flip. They do kill my token, which means they're going to be making some cats. They do have a copy of Legend of Roku. Awkward to be stuck on 2 mana. Maybe I could have kept the Dryad Arbor. I don't know. Seems like the trade I was offered last turn might have been a good one. Oh, I guess were they going to Thraben Charm? Yeah, they were. So then it's Boromir Ragavan Mystery card. They go for a Boromir. I think just for speed's sake between rounds of the challenge, let's go to game 2. Don't have that much time. I guess we're going to be the Rituals, the Fatal Push, and the Chomping Changeling. I'm going to cut the Endurance. A lot of people seem to think like Endurance as a blocker is good against Boros. I've never really been inclined to think that. I'm just going to play 1 Thoughtseize. I didn't hate a triple block here with no red permanent. They have Ragavan in the hand as the thing. And so it's like they're going to have a red permanent for next turn. How has Energy felt since the Flage ban? Energy is still very, very good. It doesn't feel that different. You no longer have to clinch your butthole every time your opponent surveils on your instep. That's great. You no longer have to bring in like 3 graveyard hate spells against the little red weenie creature deck. They now also get to play like more stuff like main deck Legend of Roku. They get to main deck Boromir, Ranger Captain. So like in some ways they're better against combo, and in some ways they're grindier. Like what they get to play like different utility lands. It's hard to even say like exactly how much of a overall power level nerf it was to. Like one thing I've been kind of reflecting on, and this is not a very hot take or anything, but like one huge reason why you had to play 4 Flage and Boros was the Boros Mirror. Like that was like that's a really mandatory reason to play 4 Flage. Flage is not legal anymore, so it's like would Boros have played 4 Flage in the main deck if the Boros Mirror didn't exist? And the answer is like still probably yes, but like the Boros Mirror is a huge part of the reason why you need the Flages. Okay, so we're not going to be able to push right now. I'm going to graveyard this. I want to be getting up to 4 mana for Nantuko, I think. They didn't play a 4 for quite a long time. That's true, yeah. Although I'm not 100% sure how correct that was. Like, they also, like, famously, most Boros players did not play Ocelot Pride at the Pro Tour, the first MH3 Pro Tour. Something I think about a lot. We could Chord of Calling for Dryad Arbor end of turn, which I think I probably will do. It also grows the Nantuko. My opponent has also gone Plains, so we might get Blood Mooned. So I guess if they Blood Moon me, we won't do that. These are both naturally drawn, though. Boros feels very play draw for me when I'm on a Cub deck. When I play Trudge, I feel really favored against it. I guess it's not a Cub deck, though. I think the Maverick build with K-Command and Ouroboroid felt pretty good. Don't know so much about this build. All right, so this turn we're gonna go Icetill, get a forest, get a Overgrown Tomb, and play Wight. For video game Spike, with Elden Ring Expedition 33 be my top 5 ever? Expedition 33, yes, for sure. And like a lot of times, like with the FromSoft games, it's kind of tough to like rank them. It's kind of tough to like choose one. Sometimes you just kind of lump them together. But Elden Ring would probably still be up there. I think I probably would put Dark Souls 1 over Elden Ring just because of the nostalgia I have for it. I'd probably have like Knights of the Old Republic and uh Mass Effect in there, although Mass Effect is 3 games too. That I guess Mass Effect Ultimate Edition is my that's the last of my top 5. Do I want to trade three insects for 2 damage? I guess not. When I'm about to get Ouroboroid. What does Maverick mean? For me, Maverick is mid-range Green Sun Zenith toolbox. That's what a Maverick does. Maverick deck is. If I'm playing a Green Sun Zenith mid-range deck, that is that's what the describer is there. No, I never played Armored Core. Never played Armored Core. I bet I'd like it though. So they play Bombardment and then they pass. I can protect my Ouroboroid with Green Sun Zenith, so I don't need to be too worried about them killing it at instant speed here, I think. I also don't want to mill my Sejiri Steppe, so I'm gonna not play any lands pre-combat. So let's go to combat. Trigger is on the stack. I'm playing E for the first time right now. I'm kind of surprised people rated so high. I mean, I do think like when a game gets so crazy hype, sometimes it can be hard to live up to expectations. But I mean, just try to enjoy it. Try not to like let other people's opinions factor in. Maybe giving this protection from Wight is lethal. See, this is 14, 18. I guess we just have lethal already. So they get a plains now? I guess they couldn't Thraben Charm the snake. Okay, so we're going to game 3. So most of the combat gameplay I'm not enjoying. Acting and role building feels are great. I like the combat a lot, but it's definitely not going to be for everybody. As like a deck builder, I found the Expedition 33 combat to be really fun. Like there's infinite builds, and not only were there infinite builds, like the game really forced you to like change up your build to try to get more powerful. Okay, I'm gonna keep this on the draw for game 3 against Boros. Now if they play Ragavan, I've got to push it. Ocelot Pride, I maybe don't need to push because of Bowmaster. Guide of Souls is also a little bit weird. Yeah, Ragavan's gonna be, I think, an easy push. Could also maybe sometimes try to block it with Dryad Arbor. I don't think that makes that much sense. Dryad Arbor is better than Ignoble Hierarch on this board because it doesn't die to Culling Ritual. They've got a Guide of Souls here. Alright, so I'm gonna just go Forest Go. Drawing Forest is super good because it's a little bit less telegraphed Orcish Bowmaster. What's the most damage E33 gamers have done in one hit? I think I've done a little over 20 million. So I guess I'll play out the Bowmasters. Not 100% sure. I guess I'll target them. If they want to trade a Guide of Souls for Bowmasters, that's fine. I don't think they're going to want that trade. Did you play Expert? Yeah. Yeah, still in the challenge. We're 1-1, 3 matches left. So I'm going to go ahead and get the Dryad Arbor. I think this is better than going for Badgermole because it survives the Culling Ritual next turn. And then hopefully I can go Culling Ritual into... I guess Icetill's not doing that much. I didn't draw a fetch land this game. Okay, don't mind seeing that. I like to see them tapping for white mana. Okay, cool. So fetch land would be really good. A lot of good top decks here. We're gonna make infinity mana. I think they're gonna get Kitty's Blessing. Oh no, they're gonna be short, right? 6, 7, 8, 9. They're gonna be one short. And ironically, it'd be better if Dryad died. That's true. I guess we could maybe with all this mana, we could Bowmaster our own Dryad and then replay it and try to mill another land. That might be okay. Strategy to struggle with the most powerful side boss. Yes. Yes, I did. It was very fun. Trying to figure out how to beat it. I did not beat it with my parrying skills. Wait, they only jumped once? Interesting. Is it maybe it's bad for us they don't get to copy these because I'm not going to be making as much mana. I guess I'm still making enough mana. Steinhall Enjoyer? No, I would use I don't want to spoil, but I had a build that was really about the ultimates. Try not to use the actual words. Okay. So we're gonna play Icetill. Gonna play Overgrown Tomb tapped. Culling Ritual is such a crazy card. We mill the forest. Do we mill the Verdant Catacombs? So do I want to just run out Bowmaster to play around land Seasoned Pyromancer? I think I'll hold it in case they have another Pride or a Ragavan. So there's a red land for a possible Seasoned Pyromancer. So we'll see if we get punished, I guess. They play into Johnny. They have 2 cards still in their hand. So let's see what we mill. I don't need to play another land here if I find something good. Don't think that's so good. Are they still playing Pyro post Flage? They are. Pyro is a lot of people keep asking why Seasoned Pyromancer, but Seasoned Pyromancer is very good with a Johnny. It's very good with Goblin Bombardment. It's very good with Ocelot Pride and Guide of Souls. Like it's good with almost every card in the deck, in addition to just being a good card advantage top deck. Like that didn't change. Only 1 match left until round 3 starts. They got 2 cards in their hand. They're both spells. This Wrath the Skies. They have 7 energy banked. Looks like it is Wrath the Skies. I guess I'll take my mill. Like I am a Shifting Woodland Icetill deck. Like I could mill Ghost Quarter and then second Icetill's, better. Build a Bowmaster. We'll definitely keep that. Maybe a little bit of an interesting convo. Do I want to go for Titania or do I want to get Ouroboroid? Do I want to get Icetill? I don't think I want to get Icetill. I think I'm going to just get Titania. Snake's not that good on the open board, not like a Dothraki Horde. Okay, round 3 of the challenge is going to start soon. Hopefully their last card's not Galvanic Discharge. Thankfully it's not. I do have 1 more Surveil in the deck. So they just drew a Galvanic Discharge, so I guess we're left with just a 5/3 for now. I can eventually maybe Wight of the Reliquary to find Shifting Woodland to copy Titania. Yeah, the blue-white deck did perform well in leagues. We played it on Thursday, I think. What would they be hasting here? How do they have Felia here? I know Boros played Felia. They just have it at like kind of a perfect time too. A little annoying. Is Felia good in Boros? It's okay with a Johnny. It's okay with the Sagas. Good with Ranger Captain, I guess. Looks like we're on the draw for round 3 in the challenge. Yeah, Boros sometimes they always know how to just have like the one perfect card in every situation. Good with Pyro? Yeah, I can be good with Pyro. Gonna hold the hand for Nantuko. Although I think I'm gonna go ahead and just tab over to the challenge. My opponent has won the die roll. They've chosen to play first, of course. I'm gonna keep my 7 on the draw, I guess. My opponent kept 7 pretty fast. So my opponent drew a land for turn in the Boros match, and then they choose not to attack. They don't really have a good Felia blink. In this game, Verdant Catacombs, Overgrown Tomb, Green Sun for Dryad Arbor. Interesting. Then they play Spymaster's Vault, so Yogg suspected, Yogg confirmed. Then they play Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Then they play a copy of Young Wolf. I'm going to Island Cycle a Lorien Revealed. Let's grab a Fountain. I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Young Wolf. Play Fountain untapped and pass the turn. They exile my Prismatic Ending end of turn. Then they play a Formidable Speaker. And they find a Walking Ballista. They play Walking Ballista X equals 0. So they can Cauldron the ability. I also top decked Ouroboroid over here. My opponent's drawn 2 lands, thankfully. I'm going to tune the narrative. So I'm Island Cycle. I'm going to get a basic island. I'm going to play a basic island. And I'm going to pass. And then we'll see if they want to Cauldron the Ballista or what. They do Cauldron the Ballista. Definitely going to counterspell Strangleroot Geist. While they have a Spymaster's Vault out there, would be lethal. So they like really fast Cauldron the Sephiroth, and then they attack for 3, putting me down to 15. I'm going to go ahead and cast this Flow State while I do have an instant and a... these are 2 pretty interesting cards. I think I need to take these 2. And obviously I don't have a Wrathless Guys in my hand, but I will Prismatic Ending the Cauldron, which does reduce their clock by a good bit. So they attack for 5. They pass the turn. Maybe they have a Bowmaster in their hand. Let's start with a Tune the Narrative. Then I'm going to cast another copy of Flow State. And then I'm going to pass the turn. Okay, interesting that this is the moment they decide to deploy Bowmasters. I'm going to go ahead and counterspell. I won the match against Boros in the league. I don't think... I guess I can't bust up the Spider-Man one since Spider-Man's not in this. So they go Marsh Let's Go. Any excitement around Namor? I mean, the issue with Merfolk is mostly like your quality of 1 and 2 drops. You know what I mean? So even though Namor is like an interesting enough 3-drop, I don't know that it moves the needle for me very much on how good the Merfolk archetype is. Okay, let's go Badgermole Cub into Wight here. A little bit worried about Solitude plus Emperor Bone Solitude. I think we can just keep fighting through that if that's what they have. I was thinking more like a mono blue tempo shell than a Merfolk build. I guess I don't know. Mono blue tempo decks are usually not anything. I guess we had some success with Mono Blue Lockmare recently. When 5-2 with Elves and local RCQ Boros matchup is better with Flage Gone, lost to Esper, Goras, and Blue White Energy. I mean, the biggest problem with Elves is that Elves is like I think notably worse than Badgermole combo. They Solitude Pitch Ephemerate. I guess they just have another one. But that means they're not ephemerating the Riddler. I don't know if that's right. 1-2 drop the challenge. Lost to Celestia Ritual. Lost to Yawgmoth, beat Boros. Okay, definitely keeping that on top. Is Celestia Ritual real? I think that it's real. We've played a lot of it over the years, and I tend to think it's a playable modern deck. They're gonna be 1 mana short of getting Ouroboroid next turn, which is a little annoying. Can't argue with there. Elves get some percentage points because most opponents at RCQ level don't know how to play against it very well. I don't. Is Elves hard to play against? I don't know. Maybe it is. So I think I'm gonna go Nantuko on my Bowmaster and copy the Bowmaster. Is there another possible build of fight rigging that is Simic with Warped Riddler, Turn on Ferocious for Fnatic, and maybe Omniscience as a payoff? So like one big thing about fight rigging is that when you're in Eldrazi as your splash instead of in any other color, you get Mycospawn, and Mycospawn gives you like Mycospawn for bridge is so powerful, and Emrakul is so powerful and so castable, and K Command is so powerful. It's really hard to imagine that Riddler and Omniscience are better, especially because like you're putting Omniscience in your deck, which is going to be a dead card unless you hide away into it probably. So we're up against Esper Archon and Esper Persist instead of Esper Gorios. And they're able to discard my Green Sun Zenith here. We are able to trigger Bowmaster twice, so I guess I'll go ahead and try to maybe I should target the Emperor of Bones. And then if they want to adapt, maybe that's okay. But like if they adapt, like I think we kind of need to adapt, and then we can like try to grist the Archon. We can also like let the Archon be in play for a turn or two. The Bowmasters do kind of, just let you have stuff to sacrifice to it. If I draw a fetch land, I do get to make 2 more Bowmasters. It's kind of interesting. I had several opponents opt not to kill Priest of Titania with the opportunity. I mean, I'll say like I'm gonna say this: if your opponents are choosing not to kill Priest of Titania, I'll say this isn't like, I just don't know how to play elves. I think you have like a really inexperienced opponent. It's not like I don't think there's anything about elves being like weird to play against that you have an opponent like, oh, I'm just not gonna kill this creature that untaps and makes 4 mana. You have opponents who just made objectively awful plays, even with any amount of experience. I don't know. Okay, they make no attacks. Big draw stuff for us. Sad to have lost the Green Sun Zenith. We draw another copy of Bowmasters, which is noticeably worse than a fetch land. I guess I do have an attack here because of Exalted. And I think we might as well. No, maybe I want the damage. I have 3 damage. I don't think that their damage matters too much. Off challenge, close state did not perform. Yeah, we went 1-2. Had a good league with it last time we played a league. Did not have a very good challenge today, no. No attacks is crazy. Fuck. Classic young dingo would rather choose death than to trigger a opponent's bowmaster. Not worth the behemoth. Yeah, I didn't end up wanting to play Craterhoof. Your build is pretty different from mine too, I think. Sack a land kills 2 creatures. Sack a land kills 2 creatures. Oh, yeah, sorry. I guess I didn't realize I could just sack Earthbent land to get another Bowmaster. I don't kill 2 creatures though. I get to trigger Orcish Bowmaster 4 times, which is 4 damage that could maybe kill 1 creature, right? So my opponent, they discard to put a counter on the frog main phase. They discard Marsh Flats. I mean, if they're so scared of Bowmaster, like how are they gonna? What they're saying is that they're gonna go for Riddler, but like I don't know how they're gonna go for Riddler here. Maybe worth animating Yogg. I feel like I'd rather have a Surveil than the Bojuka Bog, but I agree that it's close. Opponent, attack with your Archon of Cruelty. What the fuck? How do they make this decision point? It's so weird to me. Okay, so I'm gonna get 4 Bowmaster triggers. I think I'm kind of interested in killing Emperor, I guess. I mean, it's either that or deal 2 to Solitude. Killing Solitude is not too bad, also. Yeah, I guess stopping the life gain is something. You can go face. I mean, surely, like dealing 1 damage to a Solitude is better than going face, right? And then the other 3 will target them. Yeah. Although, there's something to be said for this Quantum Riddler that's coming down. If I deal even 1, oh right, I have 4 triggers here. Okay, I guess we'll just kill the Emperor, but dealing 1 damage to Archon is interesting because then they can't really Riddler. Oh, yeah, we already had 1 damage on the Solitude, right? Okay. Okay, so they drew a new card off the Frog. They also have a Riddler in the Warp Zone. Will they have the bravery to play it into 4 Bowmasters? They do. So I get to trigger this 8 times because they didn't discard the card to. I guess they discarding card to Frog doesn't matter. They just concede. Okay. Orcish Bowmaster is still a good card, I guess. So I have Endurance in the main deck. I've got Jailers because Jailers are really good against Grixis. Jailers are really good against Storm. Jailers are good against Cascade. They're not so good against Emperor of Bones. Maybe that's okay. Maybe I just Archon of Cruelty's not that scary. Maybe with Grist. Okay, it is that scary, but maybe. I just don't think that Jailer is going to be a good way to contain it. Their deck's also probably not that good at reanimating it. It seems like they're kind of hybrid blink persist, and so they're probably not playing Archaeologist. They're probably not playing Faithless Mending. They're probably playing Felia, Overlord, and Overlord and Frog are their only ways to get fast Archons. So I don't know that we need to be that scared of fast Archons. I do want the 4th Fatal Push. I think I'm gonna cut the Hierarch and be a little bit less weak to sideboard sweepers. It's very odd that they played so scared. They played so scared of Bowmaster, and then they just cast the Riddler into it. I'll hold the Safekeeper. I'm not going to be sacking any lands. I don't have Chord of Calling in my hand. I might want to Surveil if they don't play a 2-drop to try to find land number 3. I also, if they play Emperor of Bones or Psychic Frog, I want to be able to Fatal Push it and untap and play a 2-drop. Opponent's having a good think here. They go with a white-black Surveil land. Keeps a card on top, plays a Hallowed Fountain, untapped. And they play a frog. Okay, so I'm going to push the frog. Let's hope they don't discard Archon of Cruelty. A lot of little weird pauses here. And they did not discard Archon. Awesome. We're kind of mana hungry here. I'm going to go ahead and play a Cub. Pass the turn. I've been playing the mono red wish controllers. I found the deck goes cold to high noon rule of law effects. Yeah, Blast Zone is has been mentioned before. I do think it's the best you got. I agree. It's not like the most exciting tech, but I agree it's the best you have. Could Green send for another Cub? I do think I should Thoughtseize this turn though. Maybe they have Solitude Ephemerate. Okay. So let's hope they don't get a free Entomb on Archon of Cruelty. I'm going to go ahead and attack for 3. We may see our opponent persist Psychic Frog. Next turn, I could possibly Green Sun for Dryad Arbor and make a copy of Cub. My opponent surveils a land away. They play Flooded Strand from their hand. Their hand is Persist, Polluted Delta, and a mystery card. If they have a third Surveil land in their deck, which I would totally expect them to, and their hand hasn't changed that much, they probably should just main face Surveil and see if they find something better than a Psychic Frog to put back into play. If they found an Archon of Cruelty, they could persist Frog and then discard it. My opponent decides to do nothing. They go for the neutral gen. So I guess I'm going to go Green Sun for Arbor. And copy Badgermole Cub. And bestow, or sorry, Earthbend onto Dryad Arbor, which gives the Arbor haste, which will let me play Sylvan Safekeeper. And then I have 2 floating mana. It seems just kind of, it seems like totally correct to do this, right? To go, let's sacrifice Dryad Arbor to get another landfall trigger to just, since we have 2 mana floating anyways, we'll just get a third Cub out here. This is, I guess, worse against another Wrath the Skies. Lethal next turn. My opponent has Persist. Oh, they are playing Mending. Okay. So yeah, the build is a little bit different than I expected it to be. So they get a little bit of an Entomb. The hand is 2 Persists and a Polluted Delta. And access to 3 other cards. They graveyard a Quantum Riddler, which is a good persist target. They play Polluted Delta. They crack the Delta. They get Untapped Swamp. They Thoughtseize me. They take Orcish Bowmaster immediately. They have Wrath the Skies. No, they play a frog, and then they discard Archon. And then they're going to persist Riddler. Okay. Do I have lethal through this? Maybe. Let's see what we draw. So they know about this Fatal Push. If I push the frog, they block my 3 power creature. They take 5, 6, 7. Guess that's not lethal. But I could bestow Nantuko to make it lethal. That's exactly 1 more point of damage. We have Insurance for Solitude. All right, weird match. I think we're about to be 2-0. When you sacrifice the swamp, the Earthbending makes the land enter tapped again, so we don't have the ability to sack it to make extra mana or copy something or cast Bowmaster, and we could Safekeeper again, but then we don't have lethal because we have to tap. So okay, let's keep the 7 on the play. Do I want to? They were last seen it. Sorry, are they playing a Teamer deck? Is this living in? No, a Teamer prowess. So I guess we'll lead on the Heath. They were last seen Teamer prowess with Questing Druid. Boomerang basics, Storm Chaser's talent. Which is, you know, indisputably the most fun prowess build, not necessarily the most good. You don't need to sack it, it triggers landfall itself. Yeah, I guess you're right. They do have a bolt for the white. Then they pass the turn. I guess I'll just play this Grist. Kind of a weird game. Oh, nice, I milled Nantuko. I feel like I've been hitting insect off Grist more often lately. I guess I've been playing more Nantuko decks lately. We also have Delirium for Shifting Woodland. Could maybe copy Wight of the Reliquary. Gets a bit easier once we get Cub online, I guess. Yeah, no matter what, you're going to have some infinite combos in your Nantuko Cub deck, huh? Isn't there an Insect Grist combo? Are you talking about Recross the Paths? There's a deck that plays Recross the Paths that, and their entire deck is MDFCs, and so when you have Grist in play, you stack your deck to be like all insects, and then you plus it and you make like 30 insects, and then I think you just pass. I think you just pass. Speaking of passing, I made 2 insects with Grist 2 minutes ago. My opponent is in shock and awe here, maybe. They're probably debating whether or not to Lava Dart or Surveil. And they go for the Surveil. Keeps the card on top. Untap Steam Vents, 5 cards in our opponent's hand. Showing off. Lava Darts, and Insect Token. They're going to have to play another 0-drop to kill the Grist here. Obviously, they could just flash back the Lava Dart. They do. Not the worst trade ever. They've got 3 cards in their hand. I'm at 17 life points. We don't have much follow-up, of course, and we didn't draw much. Okay, I can work with that. Do you think I just want to attack for 1 here? So they're on top with 4 cards in their hand, 13 life points. One of their cards is a copy of Bloodstained Mire. Another copy, they have a copy of Lightning Bolt, so my Nantuko is not looking as good. Taking 5 damage down to 12. So if I copy Wight of the Reliquary, if I copy Wight, there's 4 creature cards in the graveyard, so I'm attacking for 6 this turn, and then I guess I sack the Overgrown Tomb to get Dryad Arbor, so I can attack for 7 next turn. Copy Grist sack. If you copy Grist with Shifting Woodland, then it has no loyalty counters, and your Shifting Woodland just dies. Can you copy Kaito with Woodlands? Yes, and then it has no loyalty counters, and it immediately dies. All right, so I'm at 11. They've got 3 cards in their hand. They didn't have another 1-mana spell to play last turn, or if they did, they didn't play it. It seems like they would most of the time. Very scary card to see. Going to be dead some amount of the time here for sure. I'm happy to see some numbers of flashback entering the prowess list. I think they're pretty good. Every second that passes, our chances to survive here increase by a little bit. Yeah, you can also copy Delian Fell with Woodland, and Delian Fell is actually such a Chad. It survives and then wins you the game immediately. unlike all the other planeswalkers. We've chosen not to play Delian Fell in this deck today to give our opponents a little bit of a chance. I think games of Magic the Gathering are better when they're competitive and your opponent could possibly win. And, if you have Delian Fell, I don't see that happening very often. So they exile a Swift Spear after some thought. I wonder if they're going to end up trying to chump block with it. Since they know my plan next turn, right? They play a Bauble, so right now they have 7 power. So I'm dead to... I guess I'm not dead to another Bauble. Are y'all ready for the coolest win you'll see all week? I guess if we draw it, it's okay. Who sees the line? So I'm going to attack with the white. I'm going to sack the Dryad Arbor. That's true. We did Ultimate Teferi today, but this is cooler. Give it protection from red. Not a bad utility land, huh? Nice. Cool. Sejiri Steppe, taps for white, enters tapped. When it enters, target creature gains protection from the color of your choice. Alright, so I'm going to play extra Fatal Push, extra Culling Rituals, need the Thoughtseizes. I'm going to go down both Icetill Explorers, I think. I think I'll leave the Grist in. I think I'm going to go cut the Titania Safekeeper and then play a Vexing Bauble. Maybe maybe. I didn't like it. Is this Maverick? Yeah, I usually call, again, mid-range decks with Green Sun Zenith to me are Maverick. Yeah, 1-2 the challenge. We lost to Yawgmoth and to Celestia Ritual. Kind of tough. Gaddock T got a Celestia Ritual was like impossible to beat. Alright, well, Sejiri Steppe won us the game. Arbor helped. Let's go ahead and put them on the bench for this game. Definitely going to keep this on the draw against Prowess. My opponent has kept 7. They lead on Swifty. I'm definitely a little bit interested in trying to Culling Ritual turn 3. I think I'll Surveil this turn instead of fetch shocking for the Fatal Push, right? I think I'm gonna graveyard that. Graveyarding this one makes the next copy a little bit better too. Do they have a Bauble? Muta does have a Bauble. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna be all in on the old Culling Ritual here. Which means I need my Badgermole Cub to live, which isn't the easiest thing to do. I don't really think we have another like reasonable line. We could, I guess, give no, sad not to have this in our opener, I guess. We could give the monk token protection from red, so the Quarry Steelcutter falls off. Seems like Maverick also plays Night White. Yeah, I guess that's the White of the Reliquaries. It's literally the zombified corpse of old school Maverick, huh? Alright, we'll probably have to go to game 3. This is going to be, right now, 8 damage. Right. Lethal turn 3. On the play for game 3. Do you think you prefer Wizards or Blue-White now as a control option? Probably Blue-White by a little bit. I will say, we need to, I need to rework Dimir Flash, too. I haven't done that yet. Dimir Flash might still be the best. Okay, let's keep our 7 on the play. Pretty sure I'm just going to play the Bog tapped. My opponent's on a mold of 6. That's good news. All right, they keep their 6-card hand. Was that lethal? Yes, we were at 0. Right. I'm okay if they want to kill my first Badgermole. It's definitely the nice thing about having two is like when the first one dies, the second one gets the value of the first. But they don't have a bolt or a heat in their hand, or they maybe kept a risky one-lander. That seems really unlikely now that they just surveilled Bloodstained Mire into the yard. They have a Quarry Steelcutter. This card is above average, you could say. I will be, I think, flashing in Bowmaster off of the Bojuka Bog to kill the monk token. To make a 3/3 monk or orc now. Kind of crazy how this doesn't feel all that strong against Quarry Steelcutter. All right, I think I'll hold up push / Bowmaster here and attack for 2. I do like Spike soft launching my Steelcutter Hater arc over the last couple weeks. I don't know if that's what's been happening. Maybe it is. I think I'm being really objective when I say Quarry Steelcutter is one of the best cards in Modern and super hard to interact with. And it's super fast. It's not very poorly designed. I am grateful to Quarry Steelcutter for giving us like a tool against Boros in the grindy games, but that's not really as necessary as it used to be. Hopefully they don't have Spell Pierce. Seems not that likely. Okay, no Spell Pierce. So let me go tap Bojuka Bog for Badgermole. I can play my whole hand, so I don't think I need to be. Oh no, I have to fetch Shock though. Right. I think that's kind of okay. They are like big on the defense here. I'm gonna minus the Grist on Bojuka Bog. Kill this, make their Delirium cards worse. And I think I just fetch Shock, play Bowmaster main phase so I can grow my Orc army and I can deal them as much damage as possible. One of Prowess's biggest weaknesses, which is it's kind of funny to call this a weakness, is their inability to play defense very well. It's very hard to make them play defense because they're so aggressive, right? But if you can put them on the back foot like this, they have a hard time racing sometimes. It's just very hard to put them in these positions. So they're at 6 life. They got Islet in play. They have Steelcutter, 4 cards in their hand. They have a second copy of Steelcutter. Then they play a Swift Spear, taking a damage down to 5. So all of a sudden they have 3 creatures, 2 cards in their hand. Do they make any attacks? They don't make any attacks. We draw a copy of Springheart Nantuko for turn. I mill a Mortuary. I think I'm going to be putting a Nantuko on a Bowmaster and attacking with everything. Maybe not the other Bowmaster. So if I send with everything, my opponent's going to go... Let's say they go block here, block here, block here, they die. So if they go block the 4-power creature, they block one of my Orc armies, they block the Cub, then they die. So they're going to have to... They're not... It doesn't look like they have a good block against this Bowmaster, so I can attack with it. I think we're about to be 3-0. Nice to have a good run with this deck after the rough challenge, huh? Mutagen Growth ruled out because of no attack. Not necessarily, but Mutagen Growth doesn't seem like it does anything here, right? They go to 3 life, and they're just dead for sure. So, you know, I don't think we need to worry about it too much. I think we're going to win. I'm going to queue up the trophy prediction. Okay, I'm going to start the trophy prediction. This is to trophy this league, even though technically we're still only 2-0. Yeah, with the blue-white deck, we lost to Celestia Ritual, we lost to Yawgmoth, and we beat Boros. Lost really hard to Gaddock Teeg out of the Celestia deck. Yeah, so this is kind of their only block. It is a really bad block to have to make, and it puts them to 1 life with Fiery Island in play, and they lose their entire board. So not impossible to lose this game. Maybe it is impossible to lose this game. Them being at 1 life like stops almost all of like the crazy things they could do here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we are 3-0. Wooden Puddle. Thank you for the 63 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. I'm gonna keep this on the draw in an unknown matchup. Would you ever cut a Thoughtseize for the third chord? I don't know. I feel like the Thoughtseizes are so good right now. Buddy trophy with Quantum Energy, Splash Black for Frog, and some sideboard cards. Interesting. So the draw against Marsh Flats, Godless Shrine, Ocelot Pride. Also interesting. One thing that's kind of awkward about this hand is the lack of double black on turn 2, and now we have it, although we... Maybe this mana is just too awkward to have kept this. I'm going to Thoughtseize. So they have a Johnny, and they have 2 bombardments, and they have a Fatal Push. Well, I guess we get to take the Johnny, and then we get to go Fatal Push of Pride next turn. This is maybe the first time, maybe the second time I've seen Mardu Energy post Flage ban. Fetch Shock Thoughtseize seems unreasonably painful here. I think I'm just going to Surveil. We can maybe wait to Thoughtseize until we want to take the Fatal Push. So I have 0 creature cards in my graveyard right now for the white. I think it seems like an okay turn to try to go Thoughtseize white and then try to deploy Nantuko onto white next turn. The Felia? What's with all these Felias? This is the second time I've been Felia'd by energy today after seeing it literally never before. I must have done well in a tournament over the weekend I didn't see. So they play a guide. Their hand is Bombardment Mystery card right now. That's your hair on Doggo. I'm just kind of surprised to see it. I don't think it makes no sense. So they probably are blinking the white here. They're blinking the bombardment. I guess that makes some sense. So with them blinking the bombardment, I think we have to block the Felia probably. Could bestow onto one of their creatures. How much does that make sense? Makes a little bit of sense. I think I'm just gonna take the trade for the cat. Literally never before so dramatic. Have you guys seen like red white energy play Felia? I don't think I've ever seen it before. And to see it twice in one day, I think is really interesting. All right, they surveil. You don't get to use this ability on the creature. No, but I can still make plants or insects. They keep a card on top. That challenges a weekend. Yeah, that might be it. Boros Synergy played at Pro Tornado. I don't think that they did. It was stock, really? Yeah, maybe it's all warping together. They overlorded. Probably gonna get back Pride. Could get Johnny maybe. Yeah, I mean they're a hybrid blink energy build. Yeah, I don't know if they have a Solitude. Don't think we can do much against this though. I 5-0 with energy at 4 Felia. Really? That must have been at the very beginning. At this point, it's like 2 years ago. Okay. I retract my literally ever. Well, I don't know how I could have beaten this, but Windswept Heath was not it. Okay, so fourth Fatal Push in again, Rituals in again, Changeling in, Endurance out, 3 Thoughtseizes out. I think the same sideboard playing against Boros makes sense. I don't think I need inherently more Thoughtseizes because of Felia Overlord. Always a Sofriti on a 3. Okay, cool. It's interesting. I am kind of now remembering, like, I think I was testing on Stable Amulet and Felia. Felia's Static Prison was a little bit of a thing, I guess. Don't think it was ever very good. Okay, I guess we're keeping the 7 on the play. Gonna put back the Bog. Not blocking Felia is okay, because we could have bestowed Wight next turn. I was just kind of... Maybe it was okay. I was scared of the Felia just getting too big to deal with. Like, they also could, like, have sacked Guide plus Token. And that would have been kind of bad, too. So I think I'm going to take the Guide of Souls and save the push for the Ajani. What happened to Static Prison? That card was so annoying to play against. It's back to some degree. As far as what happened to it, it's kind of hard to say for sure. I think that part of the Static Prisons leaving was it being bad in the mirror. Part of it leaving was Static Prisons being marginally worse with the absence of Amptraptor. The ring ban, like, you know, Static Prison on ring was like something you'd want to do pretty often. But I think, you know, losing that extra energy generating card is kind of tough. So they play Overlord this turn, which is interesting. I kind of expected them to play a Johnny and attack with the Pride, maybe. They do get that Guide of Souls back. And I find an Orcish Bowmaster here, which is kind of an interesting card to find. I'd say even downright a good card to find here. So they still have a Johnny's, they still have a Pride. Still have a Marsh Flats. They got 2 other cards. There's the Marsh Flats. Oh, Felia is so bad for us here. Yeah, I think I have to go Bowmaster the Pride and then Fatal Push Felia instead of Fatal Pushing the Guide. Is that right? I mean, I guess I could also Chord of Calling for Grist. Okay, Chord of Calling for Chomping Changeling, I guess. Chord of Calling for Changeling is kind of interesting because then I get to block the Felia pretty well. Although I guess I won't be able to do that necessarily. Let's see. So I'm gonna go Fatal. Whoa, sorry. I'm going to sack my Orc and I'm gonna Surveil to see what my next turn's gonna look like, and then I'm gonna decide on my Fatal Push. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna be playing next turn. Okay, let's keep it on top. Let's go ahead and Fatal Push the Felia. Let's hope the Icetill can maybe grow the Wight a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab... it did grow by 1 here. I'm going to go ahead and grab Dryad Arbor first, so I have something else to sack to the Wight. Although I mostly want to be trying to save the Sejiri Steppe here, right? I guess I'll just go ahead and get my mill surveilled now. Unless I think I'm going to ever Green Sun for 2. Maybe I would Green Sun for 2. Accord for 2, rather. I could get Bowmaster to kill their Ocelot Pride at instant speed. That could be good. Does that make a lot of sense over getting something like Ouroboroid? Kind of does. So they're going to go Guide Pride or Pride at Johnny next turn. They're going to jump. Okay, I'm going to keep the Chord up. We milled over our Shifting Woodland there, which is maybe bad. Maybe I would have wanted to grab it there. So they have 8 permanents. It's so hard to race this. So I think I want to flip the Ajani now so I can kill it with Sejiri Steppe next turn. And I think if I kill the Pride end of turn, they're not going to flip the Ajani, which is kind of a headache for me if they don't flip it here. Not a super ideal situation for sure. Not watching the World Cup, no. I saw a little bit of it this weekend, and I don't know. I feel like you just have to be into it. Couldn't remember if it was each cat or each creature for some reason. It is each cat, the +2. They do +2. This ticks down to 2. We don't know any card in their hand. They're playing Concealed Courtyard, which is a little bit of a surprise. Let's go ahead and mill here. Mill the 4th creature. Oh, you know what? I should have copied the Nantuko. So I miss some tokens. I find a Titania, so I somehow get rewarded. Then I find Ouroboroid, which is going to be even more of a Aurora award here. So let's put that in the graveyard. We won't be able to attack with it, so we can just copy and make a tapped one here. I think we are always going to play this. So if I attack and I sack my Hierarch, this is going to be 8 power, so that's 4 damage. Then they block here, then they die. Yeah. So let's go to combat. Attack with the team. Could also maybe get another damage off the Icetill milling a creature. We don't. Crazy, crazy surprise lethal here. I don't I don't know how I found this, but we're gonna go to game 3. They're at -5. Quite a draw of theirs to beat. Yeah, dead in the challenge. Okay, going to game 3. Let's go. Yeah, the Sejiri Steppe has been kind of an all-star. No 1-drops on the draw. Not that we have that many 1-drops. No Bowmaster, no Culling Ritual, no Fatal Pushes. My opponent they're having a little bit of a think. I'm gonna mulligan this, I guess. They go to 6, let's join them. Double Mortuary Dryad Arbor. It's pretty rough. I think I have to keep on 6 though. It's a functional hand. They lead on Inspiring Vantage. They're playing that and Concealed Courtyard in the deck, and they just have a turn 1 Ragavan, which is tough. I do find a Fatal Push, which I'm going to have to deploy, despite this meaning that I'm not going to have a 2-drop. We'll be happy to see this. No Mana Tithe, no Mana Tithe, no Mana Tithe. I think haven't seen too many Mana Tithes later. I think it's a little bit better to play around Dashed Ragavan. All right, 5 cards in my opponent's hand. They play a Godless Shrine, untapped. They play a Thoughtseize, which my hand is pretty resilient to. It's just 3 2-drops. Hopefully they don't also have another Ragavan. A Guide or a Pride wouldn't be the end of the world. They take the Wight, then they play a Guide with 2 cards left. Let's Surveil. Another one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I want another one of these. 3 cards in their hand. Let's see what their follow-up is. They attack for 1. Then they have a little think. I played it on a 150-player tournament with Teamer Song of Creation and only lost once in 8 rounds. Do you think Modern is a specialist format right now? It can be, yeah. I mean, I'd say that it has been in the sense for like the last 2 years that there's a lot of decks that you could have been playing and continue to play them to success. So I guess I need to Bowmaster this turn. I think Modern has always been a specialist format. To some extent, it has been for sure. So we'll do this on their turn. So if if their hand has 2 lands here, they'll really want to discard some. But if they discard just one, I want to be able to kill the Guide of Souls here. I expect them to not discard anything, but yeah, unless their hand has 2 lands, which it was. So we're going to get to kill the Guide of Souls, and I'll just target them since 1 damage on the Shaman doesn't do a lot. I guess it would let me trade for Shaman with Bowmaster if they end up killing this token. It's probably better to just target them for 1. So they have 2 brand new cards. One of them is a copy of Goblin Bombardment. The other one is just a Marsh Flats. So we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I draw a copy of Green Sun Zenith, which I'll probably want to be saving. Although getting Wight is actually kind of good because I've got 3 creatures in the yard now. Like it would be a 5/5. It would be a 5/5 that would let me enable Revolt on future turns. Alternatively, I could go Badgermole Cub and bestow Nantuko onto Badgermole Cub this turn. Like, that's always a pretty good thing to do. I think I'm going to do that instead. I don't think the quantity of their mana seems to matter very much. I think I'll attack them for 3. What do you mean by specialist format? So a specialist format is kind of it's the best possible thing, I think. It's where like you have someone who we have a format that's dedicated by people who are really experienced with decks and they do really well because they're playing decks they're really experienced with. Right, they surveil a Goblin Bombardment to the graveyard, then they flip the Fable of Mirror Breaker with 1 card in their hand, freshly drawn. They go to combat really fast, kind of like they drew Wrath of Skies, I guess. Oh, they attack and then they concede. All right. We have a good 1 into a 2. We have a 5-lander on the draw. Pretty borderline hand. They're last seen today playing Domain Zoo. Thoughtseize is pretty important against Domain Zoo. Yeah, I think we'll keep. So they've got a Leyline. If I knew my top card was Forest, I'd mulligan for sure. Although maybe not. Maybe they have Scion. They don't have Scion. This is the hand. I don't know why I keep seeing Doorkeeper Thrall. I think I have to take it, though. Is Doorkeeper Thrall just so insane against me? It stops my Badger Cub ETB. It stops my Bowmaster ETB. It stops my Titania ETB. I guess that's it? It's not the worst. Could I take the Legend of Roku? I think I'll take the Legend of Roku. Maybe Kroxa. Yeah, I guess I heard some people were just playing Kroxa instead of Flage. Doorkeeper's always insane. No, we played a Death Shadow deck last week and it did nothing against us for the first time ever. It's definitely, not too bad this game. I do think I'll play out the Cub. Lincoln with the 38 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Sometimes they'll play Null Drifter. At least that was something they did like a long time ago. Maybe they don't do that anymore. So let's get the Safekeeper down. Let's play Dryad Arbor, and then next turn I could Green Sun for the snake. They would probably consign the first snake trigger. Stops Nantuko ETBs, right? Artifacts and creatures entering. So the lands entering doesn't stop Nantuko. They surveil an Arid Mason to the yard. We'll see if they have a second surveil, I guess. The Safekeeper ended up being a great draw. I think I'll just let this go. We know their hand is Consigned Mystery card. I think I just really want to be able to get a snake next turn. And so this is bad if the mystery card is like another binding, I guess. They surveil another land to yards. Shout out surveil lands just literally being draw 2, maybe stay in the game in this spot. Like if their next 2 draws are just lands here, they have no chance. My opponent makes no attacks. They play Wooded Foothills. Their hand is Consigned Mystery card. This Badgermole Cub would be mana neutral if the Doorkeeper Throw wasn't out there. The Doorkeeper Throw is out there. So it is -1 mana, so I have to go and just X equals 4. Grab the snake. They will probably consign this trigger. They did not consign this trigger, which is mistake, I guess. And then they concede the game. Okay. Maybe we don't have to play Doorkeeper Thrill Zoo players, but I guess I don't want to sway you right this second after this match. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the endurance again. I'm gonna bring in the 4th push again. Do I want to play Fade from History? Do I want to play Culling Ritual? So right now I have Chomping Changeling as my out to Leyline Scion, and it doesn't even kill the Scion, it just goes to Leyline. I think I'm interested in cutting. I think I want to play 1 Fade from History, maybe like -2 Bowmaster. All right, we got to win 1 of the next 2. Like I said last game, Thoughtseize is really important against Leyline Scion, so I think I will be keeping this. Thrall stops Changeling. I'm going to board in Chomping Changeling against Domain Zoo. But that's true, it does stop Changeling. I do think Doorkeeper Thrall is good against my deck. I wouldn't say that my deck is a good reason to be making deck building decisions in your Domain Zoo build. Doorkeeper's partially for Affinity. I feel like I don't think we played against Affinity almost at all last week. Maybe like 1 time. Affinity. To me it seems like Affinity has fallen off really hard. I don't know if everybody has that impression, but that's my impression at the moment. All right, so maybe they have Stub into Scion. They have Stub into Kavu. Okay. I think I'll Fatal Push before they untap, and then let's also grab Dryad Arbor. Great top deck. It's represented paper. That's a good point. Although it's possible that I don't know if you bought Mox Opals, you're probably playing them for a while, but it's possible it could lag behind. I don't know. So we have 2 Bowmasters that would be really bad. 3 Fatal Push, 3 Thoughtseize. Let's block. Okay, so I've got 1 creature only in the yard. I do think I want to get I guess Wight can't sack itself. So it goes sack itself to get Sejiri Steppe for Ouroboroid. I think I'm still getting this too. Possibly better to get Cub. My opponent surveils. They put an Arena of Glory in the yard. Maybe they would upkeep Surveil here sometimes. They don't. They go in and just take their draw. They tap for a blue mana pretty fast. Could be a Scion. Yeah, Scion's bummer. Okay, so big draw step. We find a Sylvan Safekeeper. I don't think that we have the luxury of waiting to deploy the Safekeeper. I think that we need to get this going now. And I think I'm gonna attack actually. Yeah, I'll if they want to block, that's fine. They can block to make me sacrifice the snake, and then they don't. So they've got 1 card in their hand. They're probably gonna surveil. We know their last card's not a land, right? Yeah. It's not a Scion of Draco either. They graveyard an Arena of Glory. And they attack me for 4, so they go up to 16, I go down to 11. And then they just pass the turn. Maybe they have like Stubborn Denial in their hand. That would definitely be a card that makes some sense. All right, so my team is safe from removal now. That's obviously really exciting. Let me go to combat. And then attack for 10 here. Doorkeeper Thrall. So this doesn't give them an effective double block, thankfully. Although it does mean they're attacking for 5 in the air. Okay, so they are going to put me down to 6. They're going to go to 11. We're going to trade life totals. I might be able to surveil something in the yard, although cracking the fetch is very dangerous here. Okay, thankfully no consign. They have to do... So if they block here, they take... Yeah, they have to block with both creatures as it stands. Maybe they have another Doorkeeper Thrall. They do have another Doorkeeper Thrall. I don't think there's really anything I can do, right? Okay, yeah, okay. So we're dead to Lightning Bolt, and I guess that is a card that they could have. It doesn't make that much sense. Step is lethal. How is Step lethal? Oh, sorry. I could have just said, sorry. They're at 11. I forgot that sacking the Safekeeper would put I forgot sacking the Safekeeper would or whatever would make my Wight 11 power. I thought I could only get it for 10. Ragavan, good block, Ragavan. Yeah, I thought it was only 10 damage for some reason. We did win though. We got the trophy. Yeah, Krokus was lethal. Yeah, that was almost a bad misstep, but we got it. Oof. Yeah, so we should have sacked the Ouroboroid. I guess we could play around binding that way. The Firelord Zuko, Trinisphere, Mockingbird. Cool art. All right, yeah, always bet on Golgari. Feels good. Good trophy. Yeah, if you want to win more, you can add a Delian Fel. We want to give our opponents a chance, which is why we're not playing that card. I think that's going to be all.